Hey y'all. So we're picking back up into Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4. Now, the second half of this verse, so we've talked about the truth that He has chosen us, He has picked us out for Himself before the foundation of the world, right? That we should be holy. He has chosen us, He has picked us out, that we should be holy. And the Amplified, thank goodness, tells us what that means. Consecrated and set apart for Him. Consecrated and set apart for Him. In your house, or if not in your house growing up, were there ever special things that were only used for special times? Or rooms, like the formal dining room that you don't play in. As we do have a formal dining room that's open, right? Two sides are open, but the table is set and chairs, and my china's in there, and that's not a room that we play in. Which I will say all three boys do a very good job of not playing in that room, but that's been the precedent, that's been the rule, is that we don't play in that room. You don't sit at that table and play your tablet. That's not your place to do that. But it is a set apart place, and that's what you and I are. When God called us, when we found Jesus and we made Him Lord of our lives, there are things that had to go, because if we are followers of Jesus, those things that we did entertain, or things that were a part of our lives before Jesus, they take a different road. They take a different path. They're not of the Father. They're not for our benefit. And so there are things that have to be separated. There are things that do not coexist in a life submitted to Christ. And the world, Satan, he packages a lie, he presents a lie that you will buy. That's the whole intent. He's not going to come to you with something he knows you're not going to be tempted to trust. So he's going to position his lie in a way that makes you consider it valid. So the world likes to tell us that, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you live your life. That God loves you and it's all okay. See, that's the partial truth, which brings death. Remember Eve in the garden? Her conversation with Satan was full of partial truth, and it cost her life. Cost Adam life. It cost us life. So we have to be careful with those partial truths. Yes, God does love us, unconditionally so, because of Jesus. But if we have made Jesus Lord of our lives, see, that's where the difference is in just believing that, God is real, Jesus was His Son. Believing and being a follower, a believer to the core, that the convictions of your life are all formed and based on the truth of who Jesus is. See, when I believe in Jesus, when I trust and rely on Him, then again, that definition from the lexicon that we read is that believing is co-joined with obedience. See, if I'm a I hate to say hearer only, because it's not that we're hearing, but if I just acknowledge that He is real and that I do think He was the Son of God, but it's not internalized. See, when things are internalized, when it is a true core value and a true core belief, it affects everything that we do. We cannot call ourselves believers without being followers and doers. We must do what God has called us to do. and not do those things which he has called us not to do. We are set apart, consecrated, and we should be holy. That means we look different than the world. Our homes are different than the world. Our children are different than the world. And it is that shiny package, that shiny lie of Satan parading around as an angel of light, right? That's who he was. And so he parades around that way because he doesn't come at us horns blazing and pitchfork out. He comes at us cleaned up as acceptance and as it's okay. But there are things that are not okay in the life of a believer. And where do we find that? We find it in the Word. We find it in when spending time with the Father. But we are to be holy. Holy. He says he's called us out that we should be holy, consecrated, and set apart. You were called to be set apart. You are not like the world. You're not like anybody else. You were called to be set apart for the Father. And we will pick up here tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.